Please note I was having sound issues on the first half of this video. The sound does improve once I start talking about the original screen. Hi everyone, Adam here, and this is what I watched for February, either first time watches or things I saw at the cinema. Alright, let's begin. On the 6th of February, I saw a movie called We Bury the Dead. This is an Australian horror movie. Here's a synopsis. Volunteers needed. After a catastrophic military disaster, the dead don't just rise, they hunt. The military insists that they are harmless and slow-moving, offering hope to grieving families. But when Ava enters a quarantine zone searching for a missing husband, she uncovers a horrifying truth. The undead are growing more violent, more relentless, and more dangerous with every passing hour. I didn't mind this. It goes in a direction you don't think it will. Daisy Ridley is playing an American. I thought her American accent was okay. I think. I mean, an American could correct me. But it went in a direction, like I just said, went in a direction I didn't expect. This isn't what you call an action-packed zombie movie. This is more a slow burn with Daisy Ridley's character trying to find out what happened to her husband. Pretty decent supporting cast. Brendan Thwaites, Mark Cole-Smith, a couple of Australian actors. I mean, most of the people in here are Australian actors apart from Daisy Ridley, but Brendan Thwaites, I thought he was really good as Clay, kind of a supporting character. And yeah, there's still some tense scenes, but it does tackle the issue of, loss and that type of thing. I think it's decent, if not great. On the 8th, I saw The Strangers Chapter 3. Here's a synopsis. Embrace your fears. Tethered by a frightening conclusion, Maya and the Strangers are locked on an unavoidable, unforgiving collision course. A showdown that proves they're far from strangers now. Now, there's a saying that strangers are friends you just haven't met. I wish I never met these strangers. You may wonder, why do I keep going to see them? Well, I don't know. None of them have been any good, to be honest. But I still think the main actress, Madeleine Petschet, still does give a good performance. This one, I'm trying to think. 2 was at least a little bit better than 1, which I think out of this underwhelming trilogy, 2 is the best. None of them have been much, to me, have been good. They've all been lackluster. Yeah, it's not good, and it drags on for it just feels like it drags on forever, to be honest. Even though it's not that long. Yeah, it's only 92 minutes, but it did feel longer because they introduced new characters, obviously just to kill them off pretty quickly. Yeah, it's a very underwhelming horror trilogy. On the 10th, I watched Shelter. This is a movie with Jason Statham. Here's the synopsis. A man living in self-imposed exile on a remote island rescues a young girl from a violent storm, setting off a chain of events that forces him out of seclusion to protect her from enemies tied to his past. This is just an okay Jason Statham movie. You kind of know what to expect. He's going to beat the crap out of some people. This type of character is a bit more sympathetic than what we usually see, where he has no choice but to take in a young girl and look after her, even though there's people after him for, well, reasons. Reasons being he can beat the living crap out of them, to be honest. I mean, it's just an okay It's, yeah, I wanted to like this more than I did. It's just kind of average, to be honest. The bad guy is pretty underwhelming. It does have Bill Nye in it, who's always good in the supporting cast, but yeah, not one of Statham's best. But still does have its moments, and of course, there's some decent fight scenes. So on the 13th, I watched the original Scream at the cinema. Here's a synopsis. Someone has taken the love of scary movies one step too far. Solving the mystery is going to be murder. A year after the murder of her mother, a teenage girl is terrorized by a masked killer who targets her and her friends by using scary movies as part of a deadly game. If you've seen it, it's a very self-referential movie. It's kind of fun using horror movies and the tropes. Kind of a satire on it, but still it's a decent horror movie with, a twist that I think back then nobody saw coming. And yeah, I mean, most of the young cast do pretty well. I mean, I don't need to talk too much about this. Most horror fans would have seen this, of course. But I will say that opening scene with Drew Barrymore was, at the time, it was surprising, and it still holds up. Actually, this movie still holds up pretty well, even though it's very 90s, with the cop asking why somebody has a cell phone, why a teenager has a cell phone, which shows how things have changed. But yeah, it's still fun to watch, though. On the 14th, I watched Shark Terror. This is an asylum movie, so if you know asylum movies, you can probably guess what the quality is like. After falling overboard during a cruise, a young woman washes ashore injured, stranded, and stalked by sharks as a desperate mother races to find her. This isn't a good movie, to be honest. Sharks look cheap. Acting, not great. It's a character after she falls off the boat due to some things happening to her and another guy end up on an island, a small island, but the tide is coming in and they're surrounded by sharks. And that sounds like an exciting premise. And this movie wasn't exciting at all. Yeah, this is a pretty average shark movie, but I should have known when I saw the Asylum logo pop up. Okay, on the 15th, I watched Whistle. Here's the synopsis for it. Don't blow it. A misfit group of unwitting high school students stumble upon a cursed object, an ancient Aztec death whistle. They discover that blowing the whistle and the terrifying sound it emits will summon their future deaths to hunt them down. This is kind of a mix of, I guess, Final Destination, a little bit of Smile. It falls into the okay. There is some memorable death scenes, but yeah, it's just okay. I'd put this under. I mean, it didn't completely blow, but yeah, it's just okay. On the 20th, I watched Iron Lung. Here's the synopsis. They will get there, their execution. I will get my freedom. The stars have gone, the planets have disappeared, only individual aboard space station or starships were left to give the end a name, the Quiet Rapture. After decades of decay and crumbling infrastructure, the consolidation of iron has made a discovery on a barren moon designated AT-5, an ocean of blood. Hoping to discover desperately needed resources, they immediately launch an expedition. A submarine is crafted and a convict is welded inside. Due to the pressure and depth of the ocean, the forward viewpoint has been encased in metal. If successful, they will earn their freedom. If not, another will follow. This will be the 13th expedition. Okay, after reading the synopsis, so that's what was going on in that movie. This is based on the video game and stars Mark Fishbach, who's known as Markiplier on YouTube, which I've never actually watched any of his stuff. He's one of those people I know of, but I've never really watched them. Yeah, I wasn't familiar with the game, and yeah, I had no idea what was going on for half the movie. And I think that's part of the problem with this. I think it assumes you're familiar with the game, but I'm not. And that's the synopsis actually explains it. I wanted to like it visually. Yeah. I mean, most of it takes place in the submarine. I wanted to like it. I just didn't. It didn't work for me. I think Mark Fishbach or Marky Ply does a decent acting job. Yeah, but I just found this. I'll be honest. I just found this very average. I mean, to me, it kind of sunk because he's in a submarine. And on the 20th, I saw Scream 7. Here's a synopsis. When a new Ghostface killer emerges in the quiet town where Sidney Prescott has built a new life, her darkest fears are realised as her daughter becomes the next target. Determined to protect her family, Sidney must face the horrors of her past to put an end to the bloodshed once and for all. This is an okay Scream movie. I don't think it's awful. I don't think it's great. It falls somewhere in between. Still, Neve Campbell does give a good performance. Ghostface has a new target, and it's Sidney's daughter, Tatum. You won't go too much into the plot. Not one of those people that wants to reveal the... I try not to give too much plot details away, especially with a Scream movie. So, yeah, I mean, it's okay. It's, probably one of the more divisive Scream movies. Yeah, I'm not gonna... But still, and of course Courtney Cox is doing well in her signature role, as usual, as Gale Weathers. But yeah, it's interesting. Also interesting to see Joel McHale, who usually does more comedic stuff, play a bit more of a serious role here, and I thought he did a pretty decent job. Yeah, okay. That's it on Scream 7. That's it for everything I watched in February. Let us know, have you seen any of these? What do you think? Like, comment, subscribe. I'm Adam, and I'll see you again soon.